Hey, everybody, Jake and Gino here coming at you with another Financial Freedom Friday. This one is very near and dear to my heart. G-Dad, how you doing?
Mr. Stenzyanuski, we're doing good today. Last week, we had talked about what parents can do. This week, we are all about the richest man in Babylon. Now, what we love about this book, Jake and I, it's an easy book to read. It's a business parable. It's a story, and it's starting out your financial freedom. When I read this book, lights out. I completely understood it. I could do it, right? We're going to go through those 7 cures. Jake, what was your, epiphany moment about when you read the book?
So I was actually in New York at the time, and of course, I was listening to it because that's my mode right there. I love Audible, and I was driving around to a doctor's office. I was a pharmaceutical rep at the time, and the thing that I loved about it is that it simplified finance. I'm always like going around trying to like look under the rock and discover the secret, but there's no huge secrets. The Richest Man in Babylon actually breaks down finance in an enjoyable way, but such simplistic terms. So that was my aha moment, at the time, because I was going around and I'm like looking for this magical cure. But if you just follow the principles within this book and stay disciplined, it really works out well for you. So for me, it was more of a roadmap for financial freedom. It's not going to happen overnight, but you got to stick to it. And over time, you can really build upon it.
Love that. The first cure, start thy purse to fattening. Really simple. You need to start saving. Now, savings is not going to get you where you need to go, but you need to start. And what Jake and I, what we started doing right off the bat when we started reading this and we started working together, we took at least 10% of the income we made and we put it aside into what we call a financial freedom account. You start saving that money is, let's say you make $10 a week. You take one of those $10 and you put it aside. That is for you. That is for you to invest in deals, whether you're buying crypto, whether you're buying real estate, stocks, bonds, you're buying a business. That money is used to invest. And if you can't do 10%, start with 2%. Create the budget. And then once you start creating a budget for your life, you'll see that money start pouring in and going, wow, I had money that I was allocating foolishly or I was wasting. Now let me start recapturing that money. So start with whatever you can, but get up to 10% of your money. And then you'll see once that snowball effect starts, you'll be saving 20, 30, 40% of your income. But like I said, the most important thing about this is, everybody, when you start focusing on something, it grows. When you start putting money into an account and you start putting energy towards that account, what happens? It starts growing, and it won't happen overnight. It may take a little bit of time, but promise me, all of a sudden, 6 months from now, you'll be like, wow, I'm putting money in every week or every time I get my paycheck. It is growing. So number one, start thy purse to fattening.
Gino, and then the really fun part of it, you talked about the snowball, is that when you start eliminating personal debt, you really see that snowball growing because you're not having those little incremental mortgages and car payments go out every month. And that snowball really starts to fly. And then that's when you get to 20, 30, 40, even 50% or more going back into savings and then repurposing it. But I'm not gonna spoil it. We'll get to that in a second. So.
Number 2, Jake, control thy expenditures. Now, this does not mean to me live below your means. It means don't be foolish about the money you spend. Yes. Don't have instant gratification. If you can't afford that TV and you're going to go out and buy it on a credit card and pay 18% interest, don't do that. One thing that I had my epiphany with one of my mentors, and he's one of our partners. You have to look at certain things in life between a need and a want. I've spoken about this before, right? A house is a luxury. Cars are luxuries. Vacations are luxuries. We need to have them. We need to enjoy them, but control the expenditures on them. If you're not saving 10% of your income and you're doing all the other stuff, that's not wise. You're not going to become financially free. You're not going to become wealthy. And if you are, it's going to take you a lot longer to it. So number 2, control the expenditures.
Here's a classic example. And, when you actually, kind of let the silly stuff go, I'll give you an example from yesterday. I sold my Range Rover yesterday, the MIH Land Rover. But the reason I did it, honestly, was because, I have a 2009 Dodge Ram and I have the Range Rover. I don't need 2 vehicles. And ultimately, I was getting annoyed at the amount of garage space that I had. And also, I'm looking at it saying, I drive like once or twice a week. What the hell am I doing with 2 vehicles? And I looked at the 2 of them. I use the truck more because, I'm a meathead and I like to throw stuff in the back of it and do little projects around the house. So ultimately that had more value to me. And the Range Rover is still fairly new, had, some value left to it. It didn't depreciate it, as much as the Dodge. So I was like, hey, let's maximize this. And like we're talking about, just a minute ago, eliminating any type of personal debt. So I think
This
that goes a long way.
this is huge what Jake is saying, and I
Yeah.
applaud him. Do you know why? Because he has the discipline. He can do it. He doesn't need to do it. Number one, he understands that keeping the car is a depreciating asset. So his Range Rover is losing money over time.
Mhm.
And number two, he's controlling his expenditures because he's paying insurance on a car that he's not using. And he has upkeep, right? So you taking all of that, right? It doesn't matter how much money you have.
That's
The
right.
reason why he's successful right now is because he's had these habits before he became successful. He's grown into this person that he is right now because of these habits, right? Of controlling his expenditures and putting money on the side. So it's not you just one day wake up and you become, wow, financially free. You're working on it. And then once you do become financially free, you can spend your money wherever you want. And you'll
And
be
you don't
saving
feel the
yourself.
need to honestly,
Yes.
I love the space in my garage right now more than I'd like having a Ferrari there. It's because like I can go pay cash for a Ferrari now, but I don't need to. I don't like
Yes.
it's just not going to do anything for my ego. So
Hmm.
it's like I'm good.
I agree
Yeah.
100%. Thanks for that. Thanks for that story. Number three is make thy gold multiply. Now, this is very important. I need everyone to answer this question. Are you working hard for your money, or is your money working hard for you?
Hmm.
Very simple. When I was working at the restaurant, I was working really hard for my money. I was putting it on the side, but that money on the side was not being repurposed or invested into other assets, right? Think about that. You need to make your gold multiply. Once you have your financial freedom account, don't just leave it there. Start educating yourself on investing that money into other assets.
Hmm.
Number four, this is an important one that I've learned from a lot of mistakes. Guard thy treasures from loss. Now, what does that mean? I want you to take your money from your financial freedom account and go invest in assets, but go invest in deals and assets when you're educated. Education times action equals results. Also, I started taking massive action. I didn't guard my treasure from loss because I started putting money into deals and I started going to partnerships that did not serve me. I ultimately bought a deal that didn't work and I partnered with somebody. I lost a lot of money. So I was behind, what they say, the eight ball. I had a lot of money saved up, lost it, had to put all that money back together and relearn the whole process. Now, that was one of the best opportunities that I had. It was a huge problem, right? Losing that money, but it showed me the opportunity of I'm doing everything wrong. Once I picked up, Clayson's book and started reading that, and I read that guard that treasure from loss, I said, wow, I made these huge mistakes. You know what? I need to start educating myself and start learning about multifamily and other assets where I can invest my treasure.
And you practice what you preach, because what was lacking from your success equation was the education piece.
Mhm.
Education times action equals results. Where Gino was taking massive action, there was things he still needed to learn. So that's a great example, Gino.
The next one is make thy dwelling a profitable investment. I love this because when I first got married with my wife, we went and lived downstairs in the basement of my mom's house. Now, it wasn't a basement; it was beautiful, but I wasn't paying rent. I was living there rent free because I was building my home. When you're starting out young, I would actually let everyone think about, maybe I'll buy a duplex or a triplex,
Yes.
and you rent out one or two of the sides. They will pay for your mortgage, they will pay for your taxes, and all of a sudden you are living what we say rent free. That is a great way to actually become financially free, especially when you're young. Can you imagine having to go to work because you want to, not because you have to pay the mortgage? That is so powerful. There's a lot of other strategies. House hacking, going into a house, living in the house, fixing it up, flipping it, moving to the next one. That's another one. So always think about the home, not as just a luxury, but maybe buying a deal that's under market, fixing it up, living there, building up some equity, refining that money out, putting into another deal. There's so many ways to make your home a profitable investment.
Best advice from one of my early mentors that I never took, but I completely agree. This is where everybody should start out.
Love that. And the next one, ensure a future income. You know what? We all get old sooner or later. Right now, Jake and I are buying assets. We're enjoying the fruits of our labor. But as we get older, we're going to have those properties continue to cash flow. And you know what? We also have the benefit is that if we own these assets as we get older, we can always sell out and cash out of these assets. And that's part of our income. We're also going to something called whole life insurance, which is another strategy into it of itself. We're saving money, putting money into a savings account. So as we get older, all of a sudden the money we're putting in today will have a nest egg for our future retirement.
Yep. Responsibility junkies. You're always planning for the future, right?
Yep. And the last one is increase thy ability to earn. This may be one of the most important ones because as you start getting older in life, it's all about growth. It's all about growing, having the growth mindset. I am reading Stephen Covey's book, The Secret 7 Habits of a Successful Person, right? It's amazing when he talks about character, right? You start growing as a person. And if you think you're going to graduate college and never read a book again, you're not going to become successful in life. You need to continue to reinvest in your education, continue to up your skills. Life is changing at such a rapid, pace right now that if you don't continue to educate yourself and continue to learn, you are going to be left behind.
Yeah, I think it's one of the biggest reasons that we've been successful is because early on we struggled scaling our business and we reinvested back into, scaling up and EOS and all these different systems to help improve the scale and systems that's why we're here today is because we reinvested in our education. And I've read more in the last year than I probably did, from 0 to 18. And in
Yep.
all honesty, but it pays, right? I wouldn't be
Yes.
doing. There's a serious ROI there, and that's why we do it.
Yeah,
So
I agree. Listen, I challenge everyone listening to this right now. Go take a look at The Richest Man in Babylon. You can go to jakeandgino.com and then you will be able to download our Richest Man ebook on our website. Start with a little ebook, start reading it, and then from there, buy the book and your eyes will be completely open. You're going to love it. Now, next week, I want you guys to think about what we're going to be talking about next week. We're going to be talking about the 6-step framework for decision making. If any of you out there, have that paralysis analysis, have that procrastination, these 6 steps are going to be an amazing way for you to start making those lifelong decisions that you need to start making now. So, Jake, I want to thank you for being on. We will see you all next week.
see you next time. Thanks.